people get more control as they learn more and transform?
That's an excellent question, and I kind of answered that. Most people, because they have no financial education, are always betting that the stock market will go up or the stock market will come down. Or they're betting that they buy a piece of real estate that the price will go up. They don't want the price to come down. See, that's because they haven't transformed. They're still thinking in terms of what's called capital gains. If you can leave with anything today or tonight, think in terms of cash flow. For example, I own oil wells. I don't care if the price of oil goes up or the price of oil comes down, because every day people are using oil. Every day, whether the price of oil is $106 a barrel US, $60 a barrel, I still get my check. And that's the difference. Other people are trying to bet on Exxon or Petrobras and the other oil companies. That's gambling. I know, being Japanese and growing up with Chinese people, most Chinese are gamblers. That's the problem. If you want to gamble, go to Macau. Have a good time there. Pick up some pretty women and gamble. I don't like that because I don't like gambling because I want control. I would rather own the casino rather than bet in the casino. And so if you're thinking about transforming, please think about owning the casino rather than gambling in the casino. The people that are betting on stock markets going up, prices going down, they're gamblers. They're not control freaks. Most of my friends on the stage there are control people. We are entrepreneurs, we're capitalists, we're not gamblers.
Thank you. Thank you, Robert. One other question. I know you're working on another book where A students work for C students and B students work for the government. What's the message behind that book, and why is that going to be important?
Well, because as you guys know, as I'm very pro-education, except I don't like the education they teach you in school. And for those of you who know that growing up in Hawaii, most of my Chinese friends were very, very smart in school. They were the A students. And they wound up as dentists and doctors and attorneys. I was a C student, and I became a capitalist. I make more money than the doctors, accountants, and attorneys. So what the A students written for C students is what capitalists know. A students stands for academics. Like my poor dad was a PhD, graduated from a 4-year university in 2 years, valedictorian, a complete academic, but he was a poor man. Whereas my rich dad never finished school, but he was a capitalist. Rich Dad Company stands for capitalism. Everything we teach people, what you're learning today about is capitalism. In my next book, Why A Students Work for C Students, is how you can train your kids to think like capitalists. Unfortunately, as I've said earlier, most people not having any financial education, when they invest, they think investing is risky because they've been trained to invest for capital gains, prices going up or prices going down. That is not what capitalists do. Capitalists want to make sure. They want control. They want to make sure they win. For instance, when you look at the American football or soccer wins and all this, there's a winning team and a losing team, but the house always wins. Same as in a gambling casino. There's winners and losers, but the house always wins. Capitalist wants to be the person that always wins. So what my next book about is how to awaken your child's financial genius. It's how you can train your child to think like a capitalist, not a gambler. And most people coming out of school may be highly educated, maybe doctors, maybe lawyers, may have a master's degree in business, but most of them are gamblers because they really think about controlling the casino. That's what it's about.
Awesome. Thank you. So I just want to say to all of you, I know that some of the transcription is lagging, but you're going to all get a copy, a DVD of this with the translation, and we'll also review it for you.
One test two, yes。我知道说，我们现在字幕打得很慢，但是因为我们为了让罗伯特清崎能多讲一点话，所以说事后会整个光碟会完整的翻译给各位，通常会送给各位有这个讯息，所以我知道虽然字有点延迟，可是希望各位稍安勿躁，可以吗
Okay, awesome.
我们让他多讲一点，对不对？
So, I just want to say on behalf of all of us, Robert, thank you for your trust and having us out here to do this. We love doing it.
Thank you guys for being there because I don't have to be there then, but I'm jealous that you're there.
But
I love Taiwan. I love the food there.
Awesome. Are there any final words you want to say to the group before we sign off and let you go and have your evening?
It's the same message, you know. I think Charles Dickens said it best. These are the best of times. These are the worst of times. And I thank you for being there. I thank you for investing time in your education. And please go out there and make it the best of times, because that's what it is. These are the best of times, but they're going to be rough for most people. So thank you all for your attending and giving up some of your time. I appreciate it.
All right.
Bless.
Let's give Robert
Thank
a big
you.
round of applause.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Robert.
Thank you, guys. Let's keep up the good work.
All right,
Okay.
thanks.
Thanks.
Okay,
I want to wrap that up with
good?
good.
Okay. So, you're translating. How many of you were able to follow some of the key points?
在座各位有多少人稍微能跟得上他讲的一些关键字的？有没有？
How many had a little trouble following it?
那有多少人真的是听的就是很吃力苦，怎么五煞煞的，听得五煞煞的？
Okay, so
好，
here's what we're going to do.
接下来我们要怎么做？
What we're going to do is we're going to review, the four of us are going to review the key points that Robert made.
那我们接下来我们四位呢会帮大家复习刚刚罗伯特在访问当中所讲的一些关键的一些观念，
Would that be okay?
这样可以吗？
All right, very good.
好，
All right, good. So, I took some notes here,
我在这边写了一些
and
笔
maybe
记
you can address the first one.
啊，也许我们就先看来讲这第一个。
Robert said, he said that right now in difficult times,
罗伯特说，在现在呢时机非
people
常
are
不好
dropping their most valuable
啊，
assets.
人们反而失去
Do
他
you
们
want to
最重要的
explain
资
what he
产。
was meaning by that and why
Yeah.
that's an
要不要
opportunity?
解释一下你刚刚他什么意思？为什么这样说？为什么这是个机会？
So the reason why everybody in here has a huge advantage,
为什么在座各位来到这里有极大的优势？
because all you have to do is study what happened in the United States,
你们只要好好研究美国到底发生了什么事情，就会懂得这个道理。
and that gives you a roadmap of what to do next before it happens here.
它就会让你知道呢，可以先预测未来，就知道现在要立即采取什么样的准备来避免美国发生美国这种状况。
So what happened in the United States, there was lots of people that said, we're not in a bubble, we're not going into a recession.
美国当年很多人就说啊，我们没有泡沫化了，我们不可能面临经济衰退，
And that's their choice.
这是那些人做出的选择。
Those people are broke today.
那些人今天几乎都身无分文破产，
They've lost everything.
他们几乎所有东西都已经赔光了。
So what Robert was saying is,
因此，罗伯特亲戚刚刚表达的重点就是，
when you don't see the signs,
当你藐视没有看见那些征兆、那些预先的那种征兆，
which are rapidly high real estate prices,
例如说非常高昂的房价，
exports are down,
或者是出口开始衰退，
unemployment's up,
然后呢，失业率也攀升，
those are the signs.
这些就是所谓的警讯
And they're starting here.
啊。现在这边也开始有这种发生这种现象。
So what happens is people that don't see those signs, they have to start selling key assets that they held while times were good.
因此呢，那些看不懂这些警讯的人，现在开始被迫出售他们在经济繁荣的时候所累积的这种财富或者资产。
Because a lot of people's wealth is based on capital gains.
因为很多人的财富都取决于经济好的时候拼命做买卖价差，赚那个价差来的。
Which is gambling.
其实这种东西在我们看来是一种赌博。
buying something here and hoping it goes up is gambling.
在这边买低呢，他期待有一天可以卖高，根本就是赌博。
And what Robert's trying to tell you is that cash flow is king.
那罗伯特清崎想跟各位分享的，这就是现金流永远都是王。
It doesn't matter if the price goes up or the price goes down. As long as you have cash flow, you're fine.
只要一直有现金流源源不断的进来，不管那个东西买的是涨是跌，跟你一点关系都没有。
So the people who are trying to ride the market up,
因此那些想要趁着多头的一直想要涨上去的人，
they're going to come down.
他们就会跟着市场一起通通摔下来。
And they're going to have to sell some of their best assets.
他们可能就被迫把手上最珍贵的资产卖出去。
Kenny, why the best assets?
Kenny， 为什么是卖出那个最好的资产？那个？
Because nobody wants the bad ones.
因为没人会买你那个手上的烂资产。
There's so many bad ones.
因为市场上有充斥了太多这种滥竽充数的资产。
So that's why the best time during a recession is to snap up all the best real estate you can.
因此呢，在经济衰退或者经济不好的时候，才是真正用便宜的价格大量买进最优之优的那种资产的最佳时机。
Now, one other question, because it's related to rentals.
因为这跟租金有关，所以还有另外一个问
He
题。
made a statement that a friend of his in China said there were how many million rentals empty?
60 million.
他说，像他一个中国的朋友提到了说，在中国
Why
有
is
多
that an
少空
opportunity?
屋率？空屋率是6000万户空房子买了就放在那边收不到租金。为什么会这样？
Well, the simple answer is that's called supply.
最简单的回答就是所谓供需问题。
So when you have high supply, low demand, rental prices don't go up.
因此，当空房很高，很多租的人很少的话，那当然租金就会下跌。
Rental prices go down.
然后呢，整个就是租金就会下跌。
Whenever there's too much of anything, prices go down.
任何东西只要充斥着市面，那个价格必定会下跌。
So if you own something today and rental prices are going down,
如果你今天所拥有的那个房屋或资产不动产，而租金一直不断的下跌，
it's going to be harder for you to pay your mortgage
这样子你想继续偿付你的贷款的话，就会越来越困难。
if you're the landlord.
如果你是身为屋主的话，
Awesome. Thanks.
太棒了，谢谢。
Thanks. Okay, what are the other things that he... Give Kenny a hand.
好，我们给 Kenny 一个掌声。他问的问题。
Now, maybe Tom, you could take this one. One of the things that he says the middle class is getting wiped out.
他说汤姆他就讲说，第二
And
个
he
是中产
said,
阶级即
and
将
there's
被抹
this
杀。
big need. I know Obama, and actually the state of California right now has got all these initiatives where they want to tax the daylights out of the
那
rich.
现在呢，像加州
Now,
奥巴马政权说，
A, why does that happen?
大量
And
课
B,
税
what's
给
the
有钱
opportunity
人
there?
啊？他说这样会发生什么事情？这样又有什么样的机会在里面呢？为什么会发生这种事情？大量想要课有钱人的税。
Well, what happens is that you have a lot of people who are not paying taxes at all right now in America
因为在美国现在当今发生什么事情，就是很多人都没有在缴税，
because they're not making any money,
因为他们根本赚不到什么钱，
but they still need to survive.
但是人们还是得继续活下去，不是
And
吗？
so they're expecting the government to give them a handout so they can continue living.
因此他们期待政府伸出援手，让他们可以继续过生活。
So the government's saying, where are we going to find the money to provide for those people who don't have jobs?
因此呢，政府就开始问说：“那我钱从哪里来，可以来帮助这些穷困的人或者没有工作的人？”
And the first place they go to is, what about the rich people?
他们第一个满脑子想到说：“那我们去找那些有钱人课征税吧，
They have lots of money.
他们好有钱啊，
They should be able to share with everybody else.
他应该要把他的财富分享给所有其他大众。”
And while socially there's not something fundamentally wrong with that idea,
那基本上从社会的眼光来看，基本上这个观念并没有任何错误。
from an economy standpoint, it's a terrible idea.
但是从经济的眼光来看，这是一个非常糟糕的想法跟做法。
Because the purpose of the economy
因为整个经济运作的目的，
is to provide jobs for those who don't have jobs so they can feed themselves.
就是要提供大量的就业机会，让那些没有工作的人有工作，这样子可以养家糊口。
And if you punish the wealthy for having too much money,
那如果你去惩罚坏人，课了那么高的税，那些有钱人的税，
why would they want to build businesses and create more jobs?
那他们这样子的话就没有钱，也不愿意再去创造更多的公司、更多的就业机会啊，聘用更多的人。
There have been several studies over the years
多年来有很多的研究显示，
that show that when you tax the rich,
当你在有钱人身上提高税率的时候，
particularly the business owners and investors,
尤其是针对企业老板跟所谓投资者，
they stop expanding
他们就不再扩大，
and start shrinking
而开始甚至还萎缩，
because it's not worth it to take the risk to continue to expand when you're paying such high taxes.
因为当你在付这么高的税的时候呢，没有那个老板不会去值得冒那么大的风险，让自己事业扩大，然后去付更多的税。
So if that's an inevitability,
如果这是不可避免状况的
that
话，
the rich are going to get taxed more,
有钱人会被
what
课越
should
重的
we,
税。
what Robert's saying, how do you prepare for that?
那罗伯
Well-
特清是告诉我们大家怎么准备。
Here's the great thing.
来讲，这个是好消息了，给各位，
Not all the rich are going to be taxed.
并非所有的有钱人都有被课到税。
Okay, as Robert was saying, it's primarily the high-paid wage earners
通常会被课重税的，都是那个高所得的那群上班族，
and the self-employed,
还有那个自由业者，
like the accountants and the lawyers and the doctors.
譬如说像医生、律师或会计师这些高所得的收入。
They're going to take the brunt of the high tax laws.
这些高税率一旦是付诸实施的话，那些税通常会掉在这些人的头上。
Yeah, as I'll talk about this afternoon,
就像今天下午会跟各位分享的，
the tax laws in every country
几乎所有国家所有的税法，
heavily favor business owners and investors,
通通都是偏袒于投资者跟企业老板，
and that is not going to change.
那个绝对不会改变。
Awesome.
太棒了
Thank you.
谢谢。
Awesome. So, Andy, one of the other things Robert said is he talked about control, and he talked about the difference between gambling and having control.
罗伯特在跟你讨论的时候，另外一个他特别讲到是有个称之为控制，另外一个称之为赌博的这种观点。
The difference between betting at the casino as opposed to owning the casino, which generates cash flow.
譬如说，在赌场里面去